Hello everyone, Mark Hansen Audio here. Today we're going to be looking at Skanner XT, an absolutely crazy ensemble that comes as part of Reactor. I think you have to buy it separately from normal Komplete. You get it as part of Komplete Ultimate, but it is absolutely bananas. So we're not going to talk about how it works today. There's a lot of controls and they're not necessarily as obvious as you may think they are. But what we're going to do is look at the version A, type A or screen A, and go through some of the presets. This thing is absolutely insane, and we're going to have some fun with it. So let's just listen to a couple of sounds first, and then we'll really get into why it's crazy. Cool, it's a bass, fair enough. Da, da, da. And some rather strange sounds, and just one more random one before we get into it. Okay, so as you can hear straight off, this thing's capable of creating some rather strange sounds. I'm just going to put it back to the default sound for the time being. So what Skanner is doing, as you can see this waveform up here, what it's doing is it's taking sections of this and playing them back at either really fast or really slow, skipping over bits, and it's combining them with a synth engine. We're not going to talk in detail about how any of that works, we're just going to listen to the sounds. And this bit here is where it gets really interesting, the preset morpher. So I'm going to go to the snapshot bit over here. What you'll notice is I click through these presets, you'll notice this number ticks through. So now we're on Mystic Retro 6, that's on 6, 7, 8, and when I click on 9, you'll notice the sample changes and we go back to 1. So we can click through all these, da, 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 da. And then when I get to number 17, we get a new sample and another set of 8. So what's really unique about this is it plays with the presets not just as individual sounds that work on their own, but it can morph between them. Let's listen, it will be bananas. For the record, I just held the B key on my keyboard and did nothing else. All that sound came from Skanner. Which over here is it jumps through them. So as a sound designer, I adore this thing. I do a lot of sound for games. This thing can just create stuff that just nothing else I've tried can even come close to. Some of the strange sounds this thing makes. So let's choose a completely different style. That was me again, just holding the D key, nothing else. In case you haven't noticed, I have a limiter on after this. I recommend putting a limiter on after Skanner XT because it wants to blow up your ears, your face, your house, and everyone you know and love. Let's go to Soundscapes. So this one has a sort of built-in arpeggiator into it. I mean, how glorious, right? In terms of sound design, this thing is just is phenomenal. Right, so let's go back to, let's see, like a random bass sound. Okay, and let's play it with some of the basic controls. As I say, there's a controls on panel B that are much more complicated. We're going to ignore all that stuff, stick on panel 1 with our good friend, the preset morpher. So, right, what we've got here is some speed and position, so I can start adjusting these. I've actually set up some controls on my keyboard to control them for me. The keyboard's being weird and controlling multiple things, so I'll just use the mouse. Okay, so let's start messing with some of these sounds here. Sorry, some of these controls here. So the speed is the, well, I'll show you. If I hold the key and hit a preset, sit here for a very long time, while it very slowly moves from one to the next. So the speed doesn't do anything until you're morphing. So you can go very quickly. And you've probably gathered by now the position is basically between the last two. So I don't know if you can tell, but this one is slightly brighter orange than the rest of them. And that's because that's the last preset I was at. And this the teal coloured one is the current preset, as denoted by these two icons here. So I can choose to jump back and forth between those two at my own pace. Or sit somewhere in the middle, wobble back and forth. Fun stuff. Okay, so over here we have a global LFO. Mark Hanson's UI design OCD is really annoyed that this section isn't sat over here next to these ones, but we'll ignore that for the time being. Okay, so we have an LFO, so I can click on here and I'll activate an LFO here, so you can probably see this metering going back and forth. Listen to that. Yikes. So one of the things that is both integral to this and ultimately a frustration with it, because you're not used to thinking this way, is every time you morph between a preset, it turns off things and moves things back to the other place because it's moving to another preset. So it can mean you it's very easy to accidentally, I don't want to say delete one of the sounds you've created, but it's this thing is much more about finding a sound you like, setting up an audio track or whatever it is you're using, whatever DAW, and just recording the output of it, and then having an audio file at the end. This thing's not about recording MIDI. You can record MIDI with it, but it's very easy to get lost, especially if you're doing preset morphing and mucking around with controls. It's very easy to lose the original sound that you had. So if you've come up with a cool sound or a cool morph, try recording it to audio and then and sticking with that audio and then either chopping it up or sampling it or doing whatever the hell you want with it. Let's try going to a different style thing. Let's go to 90s organic lead. So a very cool sound on its own. Now that one you could record to MIDI and just use it. But we're here to muck around with presets. Like, this thing is endless fun, man. Like, I keep forgetting I'm making a video. It's too much fun. and we end up with something quite nice and pleasant. Okay, let's try motion. Sort of the difficulties about working with a plugin like this is it's almost hard to think about what to do with your hands on the piano. It's because it does so the plugin's doing so much work for you and making so many weird sounds that it's sometimes hard to actually think about what to play. So randomly play a chord. That was D major, apparently. Okay, so here we've got some more of a kind of beat-based thing. Let's go sound effects. Let's go some chiptune. Harp arcade. This will be our last one. So I can tell you right off the bat that I've used that sound in a game. Bananas. Skanner XT is coming to kill you, and it's going to have fun and smile while it's doing it. I absolutely adore Skanner XT. It is absolutely bananas. It's when I feel like making audio, not necessarily making music, when I just want to hear some weird sounds, turn some dials and see what strange things come out. Skanner XT is phenomenal. Also, when I'm building up performance kits for the 16 pads, I use battery. I want to get machine eventually one day, but whether you do like battery machine or your MPC, whatever, Skanner XT is cool for coming up with some raw material sounds, especially like huge big bass sounds that you can then sample out. So you've just got the audio out at the end and then throw that into your machine or your MPC, whatever, and then start making some performance kits and whatnot. I absolutely adore Skanner XT. It's great. It gets all the thumbs up despite the fact it's baffling and confusing and you never really know what sound's going to come out whenever you press a key. Maybe that's the point. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. My name's been Mark Hansen Audio. Adios.